Welcome back to the vlog. Happy Monday. We have a really exciting week this week. We're going to be piloting our product for the first time this Wednesday. IFRS has been grinding away, making sure that the WMS is going to be ready in time. And then I've been helping out a little bit on some UI stuff and some workflow things. I've been doing some testing with some fake barcodes. So we have some fake barcodes for totes and then fake SKU barcodes as well. And then this little finger scanner that's connected to my laptop with Bluetooth. And then we're pretty much just running through the process with all these different kinds of barcodes, emulating what it's actually going to be like when we're picking real orders, scanning real totes. I think we're pretty happy with the workflow so far. I think in the future, we have to kind of zoom out and then look at the process as a whole, not just look at how other solutions have done, the picking or the packing process. I think we have to start from first principles and try to redesign the process from an outsider's approach. Another cool thing is we paid ourselves for the first time today, which is kind of a cool feeling, kind of surreal. I'm sure I mentioned it in a previous video, but I decided to go all in on entrepreneurship in my last semester of university. So I completely gave up looking for full-time jobs. I did do a few interviews with some Bay Area companies and American companies, but I think in like February or March of last year, I decided to go all in. And today's the first day where it feels completely real. We've registered a company, we set up our accounting, our bank account, we have some revenue coming in, and then we're able to pay ourselves for the first time. And with all that, Afras has been able to quit his full-time job that he's been working for half a year and commit full-time to Canopy, which has been amazing. I think it's pretty cool, being a university student wanting to start your own thing, but there's so much uncertainty. You just have to kind of believe in yourself, believe in your abilities, and believe in the problem that you're, giving your life to solve. And I think that's what's really pushed us through kind of the problem discovery phase and then all the way up until now where we have a product, pilot customers, and some revenue in the door. That's it for now, and enjoy the vlog.
Okay, so we've been focusing on building the product for a few weeks and taking a break from cold calling, but you want to get back into it, so what's the plan?
Yeah, so we've taken a break from cold calling just because all of the calls that we've been doing have been more research-based, and we didn't really have something that we felt comfortable showing. But now that we've done a demo, we're going to be piloting this week, we're at a point where we can start circling back to some of those earlier conversations and then now reach out to some new people to try to fill up the top of the funnel to have research-based talks, but then also try to schedule them for demo calls later on. Afras has been grinding on the WMS, and in the next couple of weeks, we really want to have a lot more people at the top of the funnel where we can start scheduling demos. And as we start onboarding right now our 2 pilot customers, we want to have kind of a steadier flow. So I think cold calling has kind of been a trend, and there's a few TikTokers that have made it kind of popular. It made me think how no one really taught me how to cold call. I think conventional startup wisdom tells you that you need to cold call, tells you that you need to speak to customers, but there isn't a lot of advice for specifically startup founders on how to do cold calls. But on the sales side, there is like a lot of training online for that. So I've been looking into that, especially when we transition to sales. We want to really be able to capture the person's attention within the first 5 or 10 seconds and build kind of that trustworthiness at the beginning of the call, especially if they're a gatekeeper at one of these companies who we rely on to pass us on to their superior, someone with actual buying power that we are looking to speak to. That's it for now. Gonna get on the phone and see how many calls we can get in today. Okay, quick update on the cold calling. I think I'm through 10 businesses or so today, and there's been a gatekeeper at just about every single company. And I was thinking about it. I really shouldn't be telling these gatekeepers anything about me or my business. Typically, I would say something along the lines of I'm doing research, I'm looking to learn more about something. And usually these are things that I've seen on their website. But I think from now on, I think I want to phrase things a little bit differently. So the receptionist or whoever the gatekeeper is able to pass me on to someone that I'm actually looking to speak to. And I think by wording my intro something along the lines of, I saw you guys offer this service on your website. I'm looking to learn more about that. In the latest call, on the website, they mentioned specifically that they do Shopify fulfillment. When I got connected to the receptionist, I just simply asked, I noticed you guys offer Shopify fulfillment. I would like to learn more. And straight away, she passed me on to someone else.
Hello, good afternoon. Speaking.
Hi, how are you? I'm spending the time this morning calling around to learn a little bit more about the actual operations behind e-com fulfillment. Is there someone from operations that I could speak with? Okay, do you want to share progress on the WMS this week?
Last week we decided we were in a pilot this week on Wednesday. Today is currently Thursday. One thing we forgot to take into account was that the Shopify app we have to integrate has to go through a review process before it's put onto Shopify's public app store, even if we only want to install it on like a specific number of stores and make it private. So we have a temporary fix that will allow us to pilot, but no one's in today because it's a holiday. We'll be back in tomorrow, and we'll be using WMS to hopefully ship off a couple of orders. Okay, so we just tested the WMS picking and packing a real order. Everything went smoothly. We had some mock API keys in because we didn't want to test the real ones just yet in case there were any bugs, but the labels are generating correctly. They're being stored to the cloud, and all of the data is fine in terms of shipping or setting the status of the order. So everything looks good. We're going to wait till Monday to do a real test with the real API keys, and then hopefully we can start shipping out real orders to real customers.
Not sure if we mentioned this, but today is Saturday. I think, like Afrez was saying, testing was pretty successful, but we'll be back in Monday where we have a little bit more support within the warehouse. So we can just iterate very, very quickly if things go wrong, and we can try to fulfill as many orders as possible on that day. Something that I've been dealing with or working on in the last couple of weeks is kind of rebuilding my habits. And I think the biggest one is sleeping at a decent time and then waking up at a decent time. You should probably check out another YouTube channel and another founder. His name is Ross McKay on YouTube. In his latest video, he talks about how he's able to balance training, work, and family life. And he said something that really stuck with me, which is if you can't make enough time for all these things that you need to do, go to bed early. And if you can't go to bed early, then you don't want it bad enough. And I think, transitioning from student life to kind of all the prep that we had to do to start Canopy, and then now there's kind of just been a transition of the person I was before, and then this person that I want to be, and that I foresee myself being while building our company. And there's a lot of habits like, before I go to bed, these are the things that I was doing versus now throughout my day, before I go to bed, these are the things that I need to be doing. Okay, I think that's the perfect place to end the video. You guys are going to see more of our first pilot in next week's video. Like I said earlier, subscribe, like the video. We read every single comment and we'll try to reply to as many as possible. So if you have any questions for us, questions about our business, we'd be happy to chat about it in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see you again next week.